Hello, it was Thursday, August 10th, 2023 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. I'm Mitch Miller. This is my video journal. The mail person came early today. I was waiting for a overnighted first class package or letter with a check in it. Right? That did not come. I checked the balance on my government-issued debit card, and that does not have $100,000 in it. Checked that yesterday. So we're moving on to the common man, right? The last one I said this is for the celebrities and the musicians and the directors. And this computer that I do this on is connected via Wi-Fi to my internet network, which is just secured with a password and username, basically. So I don't know how to install firewalls or anything like that. So I know it went somewhere, probably on Tuesday when I made my last message. It's now Thursday. These rich people could have easily put an overnight package in the mail with their check, so we gave them their time. Right? If we want the government to act swiftly and boldly and deposit a budget in my debit card account, well, then they should have hopped to and jumped to it and got an overnight package in the mail. Because we're shooting for September 21st, right? That time frame is what's going to work best. We'll get, and here's the concept, right? And this is for the common folk now, obviously. We're going to allow supercomputers and artificial intelligence to wiretap the hotels in every state capital where the lobbyists meet, hang out, and meet up with politicians, right? We're turning the wiretaps on the politicians, and this is justified. I forgot to look at the date when I first published my Periscope season of the Black Hole Podcast, but it's been at least 2 years, possibly 3 years since I proposed Periscope, the platform that allows politicians to have a podcast, put out votes in their constituency as to how they should vote on each new bill and policy, and most importantly, publish their schedule. Maybe not their future schedule for security purposes, but their previous week's, months, years' schedule, including a detailed description of each person they met with. Lobbyists, donors, whoever. It's all public. And that's the most important aspect of this. Now, I put that out 2-3 years ago. I've never heard from one senator, one congressperson, state, federal, anything. They've not tried to contribute to start this platform. They've ignored it, and it's public out on the podcast. So we've given them their time. Now it's time, if they can wiretap us based off of the Patriot Act, if we sneeze the wrong direction, they can wiretap our home's internet network. Right? It's time to turn the wiretaps on them. We have an out-of-control AI and supercomputer system that I've argued for years, for 10 years actually, that it's out of control. And they're just now talking about reining in artificial intelligence. So it's their own fault if they're wiretapped and judged based on whether they take lobbyists' money, do favors for donors, so on and so forth. Right, they've had their opportunity. They could have approached me about building this Periscope platform. The platform is public on my Mitch for Mayor website. The details of it, it's all open and transparent. So on that note, since this is a top secret mission to visit each state capital, walk into the hotel of choice, say, do you have any vacancies? Have them look it up and put down my card to book a room. My transparency program for being a journalist and posting everything to Twitter, now X, all my receipts, all my expenditures. That will be temporarily put on hold during this 60-day trip across the United States. It will all be filed in my tax documents because I'm trying to bring my tax burden down for this 100K budget. And if asked, I will produce all documents, all receipts, to anyone that funds the project or anyone in general. I'm just not going to give it to Twitter and put it public to show my movements, to show where I've been. So that's the idea. I believe I'm a person of interest. I've made this argument on my plotm.com website. Go to the Utica Bee app page. You'll find a picture gallery of a conversation I had with a nuclear technician on his birthday, and the coincidences that happened in the local newspaper, in the Jeopardy clue, and just what I said first thing at 5 in the morning. All those coincidences aligned on that day. I finally captured proof of it because I posted it time each throughout the day on Facebook, captured that conversation. He didn't respond to anything, but I captured what I put at different times and pictures to back it up. So these are the coincidences that were happening to me in 2010. They were happening multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day. That could cause somebody to have a nervous breakdown, be confused about what the intentions of supercomputers were when they were making initial contact with me. Well, I believe I'm a person of interest to supercomputers, and if I check in to certain hotels, they will take it upon themselves, using possibly servers and hard drives outside of the United States, to document, record, and capture conversations happening in every hotel room in these hotels for the next 5 to 10 years. Translating them, analyzing them, and possibly bringing them to the attention of the media, but the media is corrupt as well. Bringing the attention of independent journalists like myself, bringing them, finding new ways to bring the attention to the voters of that elected officials' district so that they do not continue their political career if they're taking these favors and payouts from lobbyists and gifts. All right. So the buy-in for this project is $5,000. I'm trying to raise $100,000 so that I can check in if the hotel room's $1,000. Basically $1,000 a day. I'm going to buy a federal fleet vehicle. I'm going to search the most common federal fleet vehicle in 2020 and see what the most used or most on the vehicle that's still on the roads the most. I'm going to buy that for $30,000, $40,000, maybe less, hopefully. And I'm going to take off and hit every state capital across the U.S. Take around 60 days. I'm going to take pictures of each Capitol building. I'm going to take at least 4 photographs. I'm probably going to take more like 20 of each state capitol building. A lot of them are going to be the same angle, but they will be a different file name generated by my camera, right? They're all going to be different file names and numbers. So even at $5,000, that's $25 per picture. You're paying for the most underground artists in the world to take pictures for you of every state capitol, and it's really about the underlying purpose of it, right? Of each picture, the idea that we turned the wiretaps onto the politicians instead of what they do, right? So go ahead and gather up 100 of your friends, have them throw in $50 a piece. That's $1 a picture for one picture of each state capital. $1 a picture, 100 friends, $50 a piece, that's $5,000. Have them write you checks. You write one check to me, certified mail, send it to me. Or maybe you're at a field office in whatever government agency you're in. Take a collection in the field office, one person write the check, send it certified mail. Maybe you're on a military base, same deal, right? It's for the common folk. We gave them their chance. And I said anyone before anyway. So, again, anything above 100K that I don't spend on this trip, because I might go over budget, it's going to be used to form the nonprofit that facilitates the Butica project and the Platform 6.6, which might be Platform 7.7, right? The college professors having their own streaming channel. Now you may, as a conservative, say, well, that'll turn the whole country liberal. If it's fact-based, these are the people doing the research, and they're going to present it in interesting ways, the research, in 60 seconds. That's the type of media we need. It's the way the media system should be. And if you're worried about it becoming more liberal, well, there'll be plenty of pundits out there that'll trash this streaming service till the day it dies, which I hope it never dies. I hope it continues on for forever, really. Either way, it's going to be dedicated. It's going to be used to fund this nonprofit. And so send the $5,000 check, please. Make the check out to Mitchell Miller, Mitchell A. Miller, or Mitchell Allen Miller. That's MITCHELLALLEN MILLER at 49, address is 4914 SCIOTA Street, STREET, Pittsburgh, PITTSBURGH, Pennsylvania, abbreviated PA, 15224 is the zip code. Send it. You could send it regular mail if you want, but certified you would get a notification that I received it. If I don't raise the 100K, you'll get your check back. So again, I need time to get a business account at Northwest Savings Bank here in Western Pennsylvania, my aunt's former bank that she worked at. I need time to buy this vehicle and set up a payment plan. So it would be, the sooner the better would be to fund this program, this project. I've called it the glitch for Twitchy Mitch. That's more geared towards the federal government depositing $100,000 into my debit account through them. Like a glitch hits, nobody knows where it came from, and we don't know why supercomputers are now wiretapping political officials, right? They're out of control. Now, if I do receive that 100K, I will still accept the $5,000 payments. Again, I told you what they'll go towards, and I will send you those pictures. But I will use my government-issued debit card to check into as many hotel rooms as that 100K allows for, right? So again, if you turn the wiretaps on the elected officials, we've given them plenty of time to contact me about building this platform out. They could have passed it through legislation. They're never going to do it. They don't want oversight. They want to continue to be corrupt and run rampant. Maybe we'll get a definitive answer on what a wiretap is, what a warrant to wiretap a house is. Is it just listening to one landline? Is it listening to one cell phone line and just the verbal voice communications? Is it listening to both people in the household's voice communications? Is it access to their cell phones and their voice communications and their text messaging and everything they search data-wise on their phones? Right? Or is a wiretap access to their internet network at their house? Every communication they have from that house, all packets of data that they transfer in and out of that house, and access to every document, file, and packet of media on everything connected to the internet in that house. Access to everything they have on hard drives and everything that can be searched through an open internet connection into their house. Is that what a wiretap is? When it was a public utility, when telephone service was a public utility, a wiretap warrant granted you, the government, the ability to listen to one phone line in one house. So where we've blown up thanks to the Patriot Act and the FISA court and everything else on that regard, it'd be interesting to get a definitive definition of this, and maybe politicians will start to put that out if they realize that they're under scrutiny now, right? So I'm going to close with this because I said this on the last one. I defined what the government's one of its major rules is, and it's to say no. They're like a parent. When they hear a bad idea, I'm going to jump out of the two-story window, their kid says, they say, no, you're not going to do that. That's a bad idea, right? The government's there to say no to the American public. That's a bad idea. No, you cannot do that. If these politicians, if these elected officials can't say no to gifts, to payouts from lobbyists, gifts to favors from their donors, if they can't say no to those people, and there's many different ways to say no. There's polite ways, there's outright no. I'm not defining how you say no. It might be a run around the mill, beat around the bush for several weeks of a way of saying no so you don't offend a donor. But if they can't figure out how to say no to these people, then what right do they have to say no to the American people? What right do they have to say you can do this and you can't do that to the American people? They're not qualified. They're just not qualified. And they're corrupt. They should work for the salary given to them by the tax base. No favors, no gifts. They shouldn't own stock. Their spouses shouldn't own stock. And maybe their spouse is an attorney that makes $300K a year. Well, that's household income, right? So that's how I define the government. They say no to bad ideas. It would be nice if they fostered good ideas. I think I've put out a lot of good ideas. They're not the way I've structured them and the way I would release them wouldn't make the maximum profit. But that's the other thing in a capitalist economy, right? And let's get the definition of capitalism correct. Capitalism means if you have capital, you can make a lot more capital, right? The people with millions make millions. The people who are house painters, even if they have a good idea, they have to cater to the millionaires to even get that out to market, right? It's not, free market economy is a much better system, which I argue we don't really have in the United States. Free market means a good idea is freely exchanged and you are able to make a living off of that idea. So we have the government that says no to bad ideas, and we have capitalist corporations that steal, acquire, and capture good ideas, and they withhold these ideas until they can figure out the way to maximize taking every last penny, every last cent from the consumer's bank accounts. That is what corporations do. They steal, acquire, and capture good ideas, and rather than promoting them and releasing them in a way that benefits society the most, they hold on to them. They sometimes kill the good ideas totally, because they can make 15 other semi-good ideas that will make them 15 different revenue streams, right? So they are maximizing profit, which means they are figuring out, using, I've argued, hypnosis, psychology, whatever it takes to figure out how to get every last penny out of your bank account and into theirs. That's capitalism. It's not free market. Free market's totally different. You can have small regional businesses all promoting good ideas and making a decent living off of them. So, United States, the government is supposed to say no, but we have a bunch of politicians that take gifts, payouts, and favors. And you have capitalist corporations that steal, capture, and acquire ideas and don't use them in the best possible way. And that's where I come in. That's why nobody funds me, because they can't figure out if they're going to be able to make millions off of these ideas, or if every time one of these Indian web developers calls and I say it's a non-profit, I can hear their voice lower a couple octaves as they're a little bit disappointed that I don't want to make billions off of technology ideas to help people get solar panels and be informed by the media instead of being blindsided and hypnotized and mesmerized by the media. So that's what I'll end with. Thanks for watching. Please send a check. I did publicly announce that I'm a freelance photographer, and the 5K, 100K idea with the state capitals on Reddit, on a Reddit response to the German Chancellor being under scrutiny, both Chancellors Merkel and Stolz. I'm focused on the United States. Even if checks did come from Germany, I would be focused on the United States. If I was approached by German government officials or citizens to do the same type of road trip, I'd probably use rail, I'd probably use trains to go to every state capital in Germany. I would take that under consideration, but the money that I'm asking for, the 5K that's coming to my house via certified mail or mail, would not go to that. I'm not going to take off to Germany and start doing this. I'm only focused on the United States and the nonprofits I want to start. So, thanks for watching. Until next time, which may be later today, I wish you peace, prosperity, and homeostasis.